Hello, all the Kings men. Welcome to another Friday assessment. Yes, yes, yes. Come on in, come on in. Glory be to God. Look, I'm doing this because I know you've been fighting all week, but glory be to God that you have won this round. You have made it into another week. You have made it across another week, and you're going into another week. Glory be to God. Look, you're going into another week with victory. Lord, I don't care if you took some blows this week. I don't care if it almost took you out, but because you still standing, because you made it today, that is a victory. Look, we want to think that, oh, we made it across the week with no scars, with no scuff marks, and there was nothing going on. But you know what? We go through a fight and we go through it every day. Glory be to God. And we think that we got to go through without scars in order to win. If we just make it, we win. Glory be to God. Why? Because what we're wanting to do, we want to be able to go through these battles riding on the word, and we want to go through these battles being strengthened, knowing that all these things work together for the good of who? Those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Yes, yes. We are all the King's men, and we are working on purpose. Why? Because we were created with the purpose. We were given purpose from the foundation of the world. When God created man, he said, look, man, I'm putting you in my garden. I need you to tend to it. Glory be to God. Then he put him in a deep sleep. He said, you need to help me. So he gave him the woman. Glory be to God. All the King's men. It's time to get back in our place, take responsibility, be reliable, and earn the respect of your community, earn the respect of your family. I know it's challenging, but you a builder. And that's what I want to talk about today. You are a builder. Look, even as you go across your week, you feel like you're beat up. You feel like you just what they call that thing. You just a boxing dummy. You just something to be hit on. Glory be to God. But you are not. You are building all the King's men. Look, you got to go down before you can go up. So build that foundation. Build everything that you need before you lock it in with the concrete. Glory be to God, because that foundation is going to be solid, and you went down and built the infrastructure that's going to support what you're building, all the King's men. So yes, go through. Yes, it may seem gritty. It may seem grimy. It may seem that you're getting dirty. Glory be to God. But because you're going to stand still and be proved through the time of going through, know that the time is going to prove just who you are. So continue building. Why? Because your building is going to change a generation. As you know, if you don't know, Psalms 112 is what all the King's men is built off of. The word says, fear the Lord. That is where you building your infrastructure. That is your infrastructure. Before you can even build that foundation, you got to have faith and know where your faith lies. So you building the infrastructure so that you can lay that solid foundation. Why? Because there's a generation that's going to have to stand on your back. It's going to have to stand on that foundation that you built. Glory be to God. And you want to build it where everything that's needed is going to be able to sustain that generation, because it said the righteous is sustained forever. That generation is sustained over and over and over and over. So all it takes is for you to make up in your mind that I'm a generation changer. There's a generation that's dependent upon me to do what I need to do for me to be the man that God has called me to be. That I know you like, oh, that is a weight, that's a weight. But God is giving you the strength for that weight. God is giving you, look, just like if you were training, if you like weight training, what you do, you go in the gym and you start with the regimen, you start with the plan, and you start light and you do the reps. And if you want to build up to be able to lift a heavier weight, what you do, you continue to go into that gym. You go into that gym multiple times a week. You ain't gonna go in there just once a week, because you're not gonna make progress. You want to go in there multiple times a week so that you can make the progress, so that that generation can be built. Glory be to God, because it's your decisions that's going to affect the generation, all the king's men. So I just want you to know that today, that you are a generational builder. All that fighting that you went through this week, it's nothing but digging through the dirt, building the trenches, framing up that foundation. You know how sometimes they have to pour the dirt in there, then they have to box it in with some wood and then put some support so that you can put that dirt in there, pack it in there so that you can dig the trenches for whatever you may need, for the piping that you may need that goes down in there, so that when they pour the concrete, that all the infrastructure that's deep can support what's about to go up. Glory be to God, because you only have one chance. Glory be to God. You don't want to be ripping it back up because you didn't follow the blueprint. Oh my God, that's a whole nother ball game right there. Look, do you know you have to have a blueprint in order to build your infrastructure, because it needs to match the structure that's going to be built on top of it. You build the structure so it can support the blueprints of what's being built, all the king's men. So, you have those men that be at the construction site. They have this table they laid out and they have this big old piece of paper. That's what the word is. The word is your blueprint. It's a blueprint. And if everything matches, it's going to come out and it's going to have the infrastructure to support the design of the building, all the king's men. Look, all the king's men, I thank you for stopping by. Thank you for joining in today. It has been a blessing to come into your house and come into your presence today to speak a word that you are a builder. You are a generation changer. You are changing a generation by following the word of God. So all the king's men, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. My prayer today is something that was said that will bless your life tremendously. Remember, we got our first All the King's Men's Summit coming up November 8th at 9 a.m. We'll be there 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Glory be to God. We will be praising and worship, and we will be working with the men. We will speak a word and we will answer questions. Glory be to God, because we don't want you to just come there and get it and then go back out with questions. Come in, get your questions answered. Glory be to God. And we want to pray for you that you are delivered, healed, made whole, or on your way. Glory be to God. Because this is not a one-time thing. We got to continue on. Glory be to God. So I thank you once again, all the king's men. My prayer today is that you have a blessed day, blessed weekend, and a blessed week.